Thanks for joining us. We want to discuss today one of the most common problems that we hear about in our clinic, and that is the difficulty of hearing well at church.
You know, one of the difficulties with church is that most church houses are really beautiful, but the actual place where you're sitting, whether it's a chapel or a cultural hall or it's usually a very large room. With large rooms, the acoustic travel, it can be really reduced because it's almost like listening outside. The sound doesn't get trapped in and it escapes, and so you lose a lot of intensity, you lose some of the characteristics of speech that are so important for us to understand, and that can be a real issue.
That's a real issue. The acoustics in these great big open rooms can be difficult, and of course most chapels do have a microphone system. There are some speakers oftentimes in the ceilings or the walls, but in addition to the acoustics, sometimes the person talking into the mic does a poor job of talking into the mic. Sometimes people are afraid of getting right into the microphone, or some pastors have a microphone clipped to them, but they maybe have kind of a soft-spoken voice that can be difficult to hear. So we find that the acoustics can be tough, but also the person that's speaking into the mic sometimes doesn't do a great job.
But there are solutions. One of the solutions, of course, is if you know you don't hear well, get a hearing test, and that oftentimes leads to getting a hearing device. A hearing device will help you hear better. It'll help you pick up the speech much better. It'll help those sounds that you're lacking become more audible and give you a better chance.
Hearing aids can really help. If you're struggling to hear not only at church but in other environments, you just may need help hearing, and hearing aids are a great solution. Another solution can simply be adjusting the way that you sit in the room. We often counsel our patients, well, maybe you don't need a hearing aid. Maybe your hearing is still good, but the place that you're sitting in the chapel could be affecting the way that you're hearing. And simply put, if you're sitting front and center, you'll have the best opportunity to hear well. You've got the direct line to the person that's speaking, which helps with the acoustics coming directly to your ears. It also gives you a direct line of sight, and our eyes can often help us to hear better by seeing facial expressions and visual cues.
On top of that, oftentimes the church house that you're attending will have a place for you to check out a special listening device. Sometimes we call these assistive listening devices. These listening devices will oftentimes give you a direct acoustic read or a direct channel from the speaker themselves, from the microphone, right to your ear directly. This helps dramatically because it essentially allows you to hear only the speaker without hearing the surrounding sounds. So that's really good. Other technologies already exist in the hearing device you may have, such as telecoil, some form of getting a direct auditory input signal. And so if you want to learn more about how to receive a more direct auditory signal or be more successful while you're at church, come in and talk to us.
Come in and talk to us. We'd love to see you and help you hear better at church.